What's up, everyone? And this is Next Level Thinking. What's up, everyone? This is another episode of Next Level Thinking, where we always bring you inspirational guests to help you take it to that next level. It's your host, Chris Holmes, as always, bringing you the energy and fire. But today I have a special guest by the name of
Brian Scudamore.
Awesome. So let the audience know a little about who this is, because they're about to get some groundbreaking jewels from this podcast episode.
Awesome. Well, hey, Chris, Brian Scudamore here. Thanks for having me on your podcast. I got to say, I love your energy, man. It's awesome and it's contagious. So this should be a fun little chat together.
Yes.
And about myself, about 30 years ago, I started a company called the Rubbish Boys. I was looking for a way to pay for college.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually graduate from high school. I was one course short of graduation. But I needed to fund my own college education, and I was in all places. I was in a McDonald's drive-thru.
Oh, man.
Beat up old pickup truck. It had plywood sides on the box, and it said Mark's Hauling on the side. It was a junk removal business.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the truck and said, you know what? I'm going to go buy myself a pickup truck, and I'm going to start hauling junk. And $700 later, I had a beat-up Ford F-150, and I started hauling junk. And really, within a couple of weeks, I found that I had a business that paid for college, and
Wow.
I found that, okay, I'm making money here, I'm earning a living. I funded my way through college, but I found that I was enjoying and learning much more about my business, more than I was college, and made the bold decision to drop out. So a year before I finished my degree, I approached my father, who's a doctor, and I said, hey, Dad, guess what? I got some good news for you. I'm dropping out of school. And he said, I don't see how that's good news. And I said, well, it's good news for me because I'm making money, I'm learning about business, and I'm putting all my focus and energy into building my company. We rebranded as 1-800-GOT-JUNK because we wanted to expand into the United States. And fast forward 30 years, we're over $300 million in revenue, and we've started 3 other home service brands under the O2E brand umbrella.
Nice. And there's so many directions I can just go from, like, with everything you said, but I'm going to back it up just a little bit. And you had a job just working at fast food? I mean, just tell the audience, like, how you went over against, like, the adversity and obstacles, because I'm pretty sure, like, as you know, in fast food, like, the mindset is not of where you went to, because you had to probably, I guarantee you, develop in your own mind, like, this is my destination, this is only, like, the stepping stone.
Yeah, so, I think I learned from my father, who became a liver transplant surgeon, that you got to be willing to start at the bottom. And that means you got to be doing dishes, you got to be, working construction, whatever it is, you got to start at the bottom and roll up those sleeves and learn what it's like working your way from the ground up. So while I was working fast food, while I worked in my grandparents' army surplus store, dealing with customers, my passion for running a business came from working in my grandparents' army surplus store in San Francisco.
Okay.
It was in a poor neighborhood of San Francisco. It was definitely lots of adversity out on the streets. And I got my experience to say, you know what? This isn't where I want to end up. I want to build a business. I want to grow something. And I want to build something with quality people where we can build something much bigger and better together. So I think it starts with the vision. You've got to have a vision in your mind of where you want to go. You don't have to worry about how to get there. You just have to believe that you start somewhere and you work your way up.
And you know what? I want to definitely chime in on that. What you just lastly just said is you got to believe in the unseen. And a lot of times, like, we have a lot of great leaders and things like that, and how they got there was having unbelievable faith that even though, like, the masses may not see it, they believe within themselves that this can be done. And the first thing, the top thing you have to have is confidence in yourself that this thing can be done, and you just take the steps to keep moving forward.
Yeah, Chris, I agree with you 100%, believing in the unseen. So let me give you a specific example. So once I grew 1-800-GOT-JUNK to $1 million in annual revenues, I was actually in a bit of a doom loop, a little bit of a depression, feeling like I didn't have a very glamorous business, and I had friends that were growing businesses more quickly. I retreated to a dock on the water And I sat there one sunny summer day and I pulled out a sheet of paper and I said, enough nonsense, start thinking about pure possibility. So I took out a sheet of paper and I wrote what I called my painted picture. It was a 5-year vision of what the business would look, feel, and act like. I had to believe in the unseen. I had to believe in my own ideas. So what I listed were things like we would be the FedEx of junk removal. We'd be in
nice.
the top 30 cities in North America. And I even said we'd be featured on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Now, all those things happened. I had to believe in the unseen. I had to believe in my mind as the entrepreneur, as the visionary, that I could make this all happen. And I set out to make it happen, and I did it. Within 5 years' time, we were across the top 30 metros. We were, growing like a weed, having fun, and getting recognition of such great people. One of my favorite mentors and people on the planet, Oprah Winfrey.
Awesome. So you made the faith and everything happen into reality. And I want to kind of flip it around to the other side. Is like, why do you think people have the trouble of believing in themselves? Is it possible, like something that a friend or a family member may have said, or like, is it the internet? What do you believe, in your own opinion, is the reason why people don't actually take that step out into walking into the dream?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we are brought up as children. Now, I'm a parent, and I'm guilty of probably doing this from time to time, but we're always telling our kids no. Parents tell kids no. Teachers tell kids no. They hear no, way more than they hear yes. And so that encouragement, I remember my mother encouraged me in every way she possibly could, and she was my biggest fan. And I think that helped give me some confidence that while I went through hardships in life and had some challenges in school and challenges making some friends, and, I really believe that it was just that confidence that I could muster up within myself to eventually say, hey, you got to take a chance. You got to be, I have this philosophy, I call it, I have this philosophy, which happens to be the title of the book that I've just written that's coming out in October, called WTF. What WTF means to me is willing to fail. You've got to be willing to fail. What better way to build confidence in yourself than just to throw yourself out there going, hey man, I got nothing to lose. I'm willing to fail. I am going to try. I'm going to put it all on the line and give it my best. Have a willingness to fail. That gives you confidence.
Exactly. And I definitely have to agree with that. I want to throw another analogy, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree on it. If you think of like when you're, a baby and you're trying to figure out how to walk, and all that much more, you're going to start crawling around, and eventually you're going to take your first 1 or 2 steps, and you're going to fall back down. You'll be like, well, that didn't work. But then you're going to start crawling, and then you're going to take, this time maybe 4 steps, and you'll fall again. You're like, well, that didn't work. But eventually you're going to keep trying over and over again. And then one day, your parents going to be looking around and go like, oh my God, she's over here, or he's over here walking. And that happened because even though you failed multiple times, you refused to give up.
That's the exact analogy, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, you've got to be, willing to fail. Could also be willing to fall, right? When we learn to ski, when we learn to ride a bike, whatever it might be, we're going to fall. It's going to hurt potentially, and that's okay, because that's how we learn. It might bruise our body, it might bruise our egos, but really you've got to be willing to fail, make mistakes, and get back up and give it another shot. I mean, success is not a straight line. If I look at my business, we're $300+ million a year in annual revenue. We do $1 million on most given days. That didn't happen overnight. That took 30 years of failing over and over again.
And I like how you put that, because I believe right now, especially, I will say internet is very helpful, but a lot of times people think that it's just the overnight thing, and it's actually the journey and the process of how you become one of those great people, because you're having so many learning experiences through your failures that it's like a lesson to not only for yourself, but those who are inspired to get where you want to go, and be learning lessons for them as well.
Absolutely.
So with that said, going kind of pivoting more towards the book is, what do you think is, put in your own words, what is your definition of fear, because I feel like fear is one of the main things that stops people from actually moving forward. Because we addressed that, talked about that a little bit earlier, is like people are just afraid to take that step. But like in your own words, like describe fear and how you overcome that.
Yeah, fear to me is, it's different things to different people, but it's fear of what others will think. It's think of you. It's fear of making a mistake, of looking bad. It's fear of falling, getting hurt, experiencing emotional pain. I mean, there's lots that people fear, and everyone's got different fears. But the way I put it is, you really look at what have you got to lose. Now, you don't want people doing dangerous, life-threatening stuff. But other than that, what do you got to lose? You put, when I started my business and I put my life investment of $1,000, I took $700 and bought a beat-up old pickup truck. Well, what did I really have to lose? $1,000? I mean, I could have started over. So sometimes it's just being willing to fail, putting everything on the line, and doing your best. But if you make a mistake, it's okay. You have to ask yourself, what did I learn from that failure? What did I learn from that fall? I remember in early 2000s, about 2007, 2008, company was at well over $100 million in revenue, yet we were on the verge of bankruptcy. I was very close to business failure. Now, I learned a lot from that time. I learned that I hired the wrong COO for me. I learned that I was too controlling in the business and couldn't let go. There were things that had to change, but I wouldn't have taken away those lessons and those mistakes, because it's part of what's really gotten us to where we are today.
Yes, and then to add on to that, like I'll bring up one famous athlete, Michael Jordan, in one of his commercials. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. You said like, I failed and failed again multiple times, but that is why I succeed. And I think that was the commercial where he's been trusted with like the game-winning shot and he missed. But yet again, he trusts within himself that, you know what, I'm going to keep shooting it because eventually these winning shots are going to go in.
Yeah, 100%. I've always loved that quote. I'm not a big basketball fan because I'm in Canada where we don't have nearly as many, we've got mostly hockey teams. But I have always been a massive Michael Jordan fan purely because of that quote.
Exactly. Nice timing on everything too. But like with that, let me go even more towards the book. So like what will readers expect to pull out from reading this book to actually help them move forward and learn how to, take failures not as something just to stay down, but actually something to launch them forward?
Yeah, no, it's an awesome question, Chris. I wrote this book to encourage people. I wrote this book to show that if I can do it as a ADD, college dropout, high school dropout, if I can build a business that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, so can you. Now, it doesn't mean that someone has to go build a business. I realize not everybody's passionate about entrepreneurship, but leadership, growth, development as a better person, whatever it might be that someone's dreaming of doing, I believe that embracing a WTF, willing to fail attitude will help someone get there much more quickly. You can't just be willing to fail, though. Let's be clear. You've got to learn from each one of those failures. You've got to reflect and say, what went wrong here? I mean, people make big mistakes in their lives. People have failed marriages. But I know people that have had a failed marriage who then said, well, what did I do wrong? What happened? And what will make me a better husband and father going forward? So it's taking those lessons, turning them into a positive, and I think that that's one of the secrets to happiness in life. So I would hope that someone would read my book and walk away with one or two little nuggets that help inspire or help show them that embracing a WTF attitude can make all the difference.
Awesome. Great little jewels right there and much more. I want to also throw this, like when you think of an entrepreneur, what is one word that describes that when you hear that? I'm pretty sure like everybody has like, their insights of what they believe an entrepreneur is. But when you hear that, like what is one word that just comes to mind?
Yeah, that's great. I think an entrepreneur to me, I'm not going to give a word, but I'll give a little descriptor.
Okay.
Robert Frost had a poem called the road less traveled. I think an entrepreneur has to be willing to drive down the road less traveled. They've got to be willing to look at the world differently. They've got to be willing to try new things, fail, to make mistakes. They've got to be, I was told no by so many people that my business couldn't be franchised. I had to go down a road less traveled and prove them wrong.
Don't you believe, like, okay, with that said, don't you believe sometimes, well, I'm not going to just say sometimes, like, but don't you believe a lot of time it's just that itch that people have just to prove people wrong that actually, like, launches them or just, like, brings the best out of them?
Yeah, that's how we grow, right? It's bringing the best out of someone is really having someone sometimes tell you no, and having you look at yourself and realizing, how can I be stronger? How can I be better? I think there's a balance of what I said earlier in the interview, that we're told no so much in this world. I think being told no by people, an entrepreneur takes that no and goes, how do I turn that into a yes? How do I be positive here? How do I champion something? How do I champion greatness from this no?
Awesome. And I want to, like, hit on something you hit on earlier. It's like going towards even more towards the book is like willing to fail and willing to go down that pathway that most people are not willing to go. And it brings back, like, the famous quote is like, in order to get different results, you got to do something different, because, like, doing the same thing over and over again is insanity. So, like, if you want to be the top tier and get different results in your life, you got to be expected to do something different. If you even look at, like, perfect examples from, like, Walt Disney, how I remember hearing the story of how he was told by, I think, hundreds or probably even thousands different banks, like, you were just keying on no, like, every time going into a bank and they tell him no, nobody's gonna be entertained by amounts, but they failed to realize that this was the bigger picture. And look what we have now. Walt Disney, like, one of the biggest things in American history and much more, is just willing to go push forward more than anything.
Yeah, and I think you talked about confidence. How do people find confidence in themselves? And I think it's just somebody who's able to look at a no and go, there's opportunity in this. That's what makes up entrepreneurs. Richard Branson, he's been told no so many times. He has dyslexia. I've met Richard, and I think that a secret to his success is he's able to take what someone else can't see and find opportunity. That's what Walt Disney did. That's what I'm trying to do. And I think that's what your listeners can do, is go, someone tells me no. What are they missing? How do I flip this? How do I see the positive of this? And how do I make things better? I mean, look at Blockbuster. Blockbuster was this massive business that sold videos and had stores all over the country. They failed, and failed miserably, because they weren't seeing what Netflix saw. Netflix was able to spot an opportunity to revolutionize that space and industry based on how technology was changing. Blockbuster was blind to it. Netflix even, tried to sell their business to Blockbuster early on, and Blockbuster had no interest. How ironic is that? So I think it's one of those things where confidence comes from how you look at yourself in answering someone saying no to you.
Exactly. Very well. Good points. You got to be willing to innovate and to try new things. That's pretty much wrapping back to everything we're saying. Willing to fail, and it's like the innovators of today are what is known in the future for the legacy, because being that person just to step out and do something different. So I also want to hit on this. Like, is there like a favorite section in the book that you want to kind of give a little snippet, a little quick little sneak preview that you really want your readers to like to key in?
You know what? I don't know if there's a favorite section, because I don't know what people will connect with most. There's 25 chapters in the book. It's the story of not just my life, but my learning through business, my failures, my mistakes, my challenges. Different people will connect with different stories. I was bullied. I had panic attacks. I dropped out of school. I've had all sorts of experiences in my life, as any of your listeners would have in their life. I think different people are going to connect with different stories. They're going to look at the book and go, wow, this is one jewel, as you call it, that resonated with them and made their investment in a book or their time and energy reading a book worthwhile. So that's my hope, is that there's one or two jewels in there somewhere that people see and go, I got this, I see this. And so my favorite chapter will be the chapter that my audience who reads the book ends up telling me are their favorite chapters.
Awesome, and very good points as well, because everybody has a different perspective, and like your own story, your journey is going to inspire somebody else in so many different ways. And I like how you answered it, because you never know like what kind of pieces people are going to really reflect and just make that big impact. But the fact that you're putting your stories out there, it makes people feel like, I'm just like him, and I can. So like if he did it, I can too. So that's like a great feeling inside when you're inspiring somebody to be the best versions of themselves. But I want to key on this. This is going to probably like one of the popular topics is like, of course, you mentioned you dropping out of school. What can you tell? Because people who have dropped out but know that there is a future for them. What can you kind of briefly tell them to inspire them? Because a lot of times, after making a decision like that, I think the main thing is parents kind of pressure them or make them feel kind of bad for the decision, even though they may not understand like their vision. So what can you tell them?
Yeah, so I dropped out of school. Now I've got a real type A dad. He's fantastic. He is somebody who's so successful. He's a liver transplant surgeon. I mean, how few people on the planet ever get that job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he is someone who's all about success and drive. I had to approach him, and I was scared to tell him I was dropping out of school. I didn't just do it. I actually got not his advice, but I wanted to give him a heads up that this is what I was doing. And I remember sitting down with him, and I decided I was going to present it in a positive light. So I sat down and I said, Dad, I got some good news. He goes, oh, what? And I said, I'm dropping out of school to become a full-time junk man. And of course he goes, what? You've got to be kidding me. How is that good news? And I said, I got an opportunity here to build my business. I'm learning so much more about business by running one. I want to put all my eggs in one basket. And while he didn't see it as good news, he eventually came around. But I share that story with you as I'm sure your listeners, anyone who's ever dropped out of school, it's not easy. It's not easy telling your parents. It's not easy telling your friends. It's not easy dealing with your decision. But if you look at it as not a failure, but a chance to start fresh, to make a new beginning, what are your alternatives? What are your options? And for me, dropping out of school got me focused on a different and ultimately better path, even though short term it was very hard.
Awesome statement. I'm pretty sure with you saying that, that makes a lot of our listeners feel a lot more better, and how they can possibly, approach to, reveal the truth of where they're going to and where they see their life taking them. So I want to hit on like one last question, and then we'll go with, of course, like where they can find you much more is, in your own words, what is your why of pushing all of this, your business, and much more? Like, what is that drive to get you up every morning to just, take it to the next level and keep things moving?
Yeah, it's helping people dream big. I think my why is imagining big things, because you never know, they just might happen, and inspiring the world, as many people as I could possibly touch through my small network, to have people think big, dream big, and accomplish their 101 life goals, to grow businesses, to make a life, not just a living. And I think that's absolutely what drives me now and always will. That's my why.
Awesome. So with all that said, like, where can all the listeners find you at, so they can keep track of everything? And of course, where can they, pre-order or whatever for the newest book, so they keep all the information and, keep inspired and much more?
Yeah, so, I'll give you two places. There's plenty of places to find me, but I'll give you two. Number one, I think most of the world's on Instagram. It's my favorite social medium, so they can find me at Brian Scudamore. They could also find me on all other social mediums, but they can find me on our website, There'll be information there, and there is information there currently about the book. So they simply go to o2ebrands.com. That's letter O, number 2, letter E, brands.com. And what O2E stands for is ordinary to exceptional. We're taking ordinary people and doing exceptional things. We're taking ordinary spaces like junk removal or moving, painting, how to make those exceptional spaces, exceptional services. So o2ebrands.com, and really honored to have been a guest on your show, Chris.
Awesome, and thank you for the time. So with that said, we're going to wrap everything up. You know, we always dropping jewels and much more to keep you inspired so you can take it to that next level. It's your host, Chris Holmes. You know, just keep a blessed day and keep it moving forward. And I also have my special guest by the name of
Brian Scudamore.
Peace, and we're out.